it's alright. Everything will be alright, yeah. When I'm weak, I pray for strength. Lord, don't you hear me? Faith is the evidence of the things I don't see.
Good evening. Welcome to the Woman to Woman show. I'm your temporary host, Sandra Campbell. Thank you for joining us this evening. Our title this evening is the on bridging perspective from conflict to connection, communicating through disagreements to empower one another and to learn compromise. Wonderful. Sounds great. What I want to do is start the evening off first by allowing our guests to please come in and tell us a little bit about yourselves. Let's start with Brother Jordan.
Hello, everyone. I am Brother Jordan. I'm a community activist at heart. Have held many hats over the years, but community organizing is what I love doing. So I'm hoping to help more people and be a part of more events and structure that help more people. So that's about it right now for me.
Thank you, Brother Jordan. I agree. That's what's much needed right now. Cy Smith.
Yeah.
Cy, I haven't seen you in a long time. Welcome back.
Thank you. And it's always an honor and pleasure to be on with our people. I just tell people I'm just a humble human servant doing what God called me to do, helping our people wherever necessary. And look forward to this conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cy. And I see our host is back, Wanda. But before she chimes in,
a wonderful job.
I'm gonna ask Obi, Dr. Obi Wordlaw to come on, Obi, and let's give us some words of inspiration and introduce yourself.
My name is Obi. I'm an agitator and an activist, and I'm learning a lot from you young people. I appreciate you allowing me to be on with you. So I'm just gonna listen and learn. Thank you.
Oh, listening.
Now, did he say legendary or he didn't say legendary?
Yes, he did. Yes, he
Listen and learn.
Listen and learn. See, and that's what it's all about. I think that leads right into our topic, where we're gonna bridge this gap that we have when we have a difference of opinion. How do we get past that and continue to do what we set out to do? Let's talk about communication tactics, and we have to learn to work together. I think out of all the people that all these groups, all these populations, Black people seem to be the group that if you get mad at somebody, you can't work with them. You can't get stuff done. And we gotta get away from the emotional piece, and we gotta work with doing the business of saving our folks. What say you? How do you feel about being able to communicate and get the task done, not letting disagreements stop you, break the connection? Anybody?
Well, Wanda, this Cy Smith here, I would say this because I'm a real strong advocate on the word that we use when we say work together, or one of the words I really have, it digs me the wrong way is when we say we need to come together. So those two words, I think, set us up for failure.
Okay.
I personally think we need to coordinate together, and the coordination doesn't mean that we have to work together. I always give the analogy: if you having your porch rebuilt, and the painter and the carpenter are debating who's more important, the homeowner don't care. The homeowner want it done. So coordination means the carpenter come out first and build it. He can go home. The painter can come a week later, a day later, an hour later, and do his part. So the coordination took place, whether they like each other or not, whether they friends or not, whether they even see each other or not. But we get the conception that we all got to be in agreement, like each other, smile at each other, and sometimes you don't even have to see each other to coordinate.
I love it. That's a great explanation about the process we should use to work with one another. Like you said, we may not even have to see each other. We can just coordinate our efforts so that we can each do whatever it is we need to do, even if it's done at opposite times, at different times.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
like that. What
Yeah.
say you, Sandra? What do you think about that?
Well, it makes sense for me because, again, coming from my background, I talked to or coordinated, as he stated, communicated with people I've never met. I can tell you there were hundreds of them because depending on what the mission was at the time and who the POC was and what we needed to do to make it happen, that's what you did. And we didn't know each other, but we
Okay.
were all mission centric. I mean, that was one of the things, and I even tell my grandson when it talks about what you're trying to do. And I just told my daughter, even we had a conversation the other day, she has a conversation where she's dealing with the person's feelings and their emotions and stuff. I told her I have persuasive conversations. I don't need to get into your personal space. I just need you to do what I just need you to do what I need you to do. Okay. That's all I need, and I need you to tell me. Don't tell me no. Tell me how. I don't care about the rest of it. And if she would take herself out of that personal and that he don't like it because she's saying and I'm saying this because she got red hair, I could care less. You ain't got to have no hair. I just need you to be able to do what I need to do. If you can't do what I need you to do, give me the next person. Next, get off the phone or get off the email, get off the chat, and get me to the person that can make it happen. And once you do that, you're more productive. You don't, I mean, and it can be timely. Now, mind you, getting to the right person to get them to do what you need them to do. And then
Yeah.
again, being able to communicate your desire. Because a lot of people can't communicate what they want. They go all around Laura's house, they start visiting, telling some long story. You don't need to hear all that. Cut to the chase. Like the military says, kiss
Now,
it.
that just sound like a Leo.
Yeah.
they say kiss it, and they say what is it? Keep it simple, stupid. But now they say keep it simple and
Stop it,
sweet. But
Sandra.
it used to
Stop.
be that's what kiss meant. I lied not. I lied not. That's what it meant.
That is what it meant.
Keep it simple,
Oh.
stupid. Kiss it. Keep it simple, stupid. And when you have that kind of again, first of all, we didn't have that kind of time. I don't have that kind of time to waste because again, if I need to get this done, we all got more time than we have money. So they say. And time
Mhm.
is money. Time is money. So in order to be as productive and as efficient and as effective as you want to be, you have to be able to work with anybody and anything to get what it is what you want. Now I didn't say now I don't believe in I don't sell my soul to nobody. We're not doing that.
You can sell
We ain't
yourself.
never gonna do none of that. But
No.
again, if you're the POC, if you've got something that I need, I'm gonna contact you. And I believe going to the source. And I'm gonna contact you and I want you to tell me how to get it. And if you can't
So,
help me, then
some
direct me to
people
the
might
right
have
person.
to, write things out. They might have to make a little note to make sure they say everything that needs to be said. Maybe I don't remember to to mention all the points that I want to make, and when I'm upset, I can't think about
Then you
how,
need a meeting. Then you need a meeting. If it's gonna take you more than 3 minutes to spill out what you want, then you call for a meeting and then you make sure you have some paperwork and documentation.
that's
That's
right.
what you do then. And so if it's gonna be that elaborate and you gotta communicate that and you gotta take notes to say what you're gonna say, you need to call a meeting.
Yes, some people do. They need to call a meeting. So now,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? They need to call a meeting. So, hey, Rose, how are you? Welcome
Hey,
to the show.
good. Thank you, beautiful. Yeah.
And didn't you say, Sandra, that John was with you?
Yes, he
Sandra?
is. Yes,
Okay,
he
well,
is.
I want to hear what he has to say.
John's driving.
I know he got something to say.
John don't get to talk about this while he's driving with me in the vehicle.
Oh, he's right. She shouldn't talk about it now. Okay. So, so now look. So now, what do we think? Or what about the 24-hour network, folks? Is that something we think is a plausible alternative for bringing us together where we can each have time to talk about the issues we find that are very important and to bring people that we know from other parts of the country into our conversation? What say you? Anybody?
Well, this is Brother Jordan,
Okay.
to say the least. I definitely agree with you that that's an avenue, and that is definitely something where I'm loving that Brother Side does the same thing with this
Yes.
network that he has.
Yes.
And so, it's the rotation of it that I've seen that they've incorporate has a very good, vibe. I'm hoping that I'm probably be on Zoom tomorrow, hopefully, side, but hopefully you're shooting that to me tomorrow. I look forward to that.
Yep.
But having a network like we're building here, to sustain, doing something, is definitely valuable, to say the least. We're all on one accord. We're all on in an idea, and have a perspective to want to see a change. Whether it's a try mean it failed, but we still did it, right? So, um, but in terms of where we at right now, I got my 5 thinking points. We ready for my 5 thinking points?
Let's do your five. Let's do your 5 points.
All right, I got you. My baby wanted to join my Zoom
Oh, look
tonight.
at there. I love it.
She wanted to. I can't stand here. She not wanting to actually get picked up. Right? It's just not happening. So then she's waving at everybody. So she's.
Oh, ain't that sweet.
So, number one, well, let me start off by saying this, right? Each of my talking points tonight are designed to spark empowerment, deepen understanding, and promote compromise with 4 critical thinking points, right?
Okay.
Examples, if you will, to guide the conversation, and challenge the perspectives, right? So, my first talking point tonight is the power of listening, right? Hearing
Mm,
beyond the words, right? The true connection begins when we listen and not respond, but to understand, right? So, critical thinking examples come in a reflective listening, where what emotions might be driving a person's words, even if her tone is sharp or a person's tone is, a reflective that is somewhat, I guess, not disengaging, or
yeah.
to a point where it's offensive, probably, right? We have to gauge people's tone, right? That's the biggest thing, in a reflective listening idea, right?
Yeah,
But
because
then we have a
you can hear what a person feels through their tone.
yes, yes. And then we have a bias check, right? In this whole idea, and you're filtering the message, right, through your own perception or your assumptions, or even your past experience. You think that somebody might say the wrong thing, they're ready to pop off, right, for whatever reason. No, we ain't. That's not. Sometimes some people's response is just their personality, right? We have a lot of personality character flaws that some people actually can't gauge to a certain extent, especially with in the Black community, right? um and so then there's empathy, expressions, right? What how would you feel if you were in that person's shoes, or
Hmm.
facing that challenge, right? That's an empathy clause, right? We have to actually put ourselves first in any situation, whether we be there or they be on the other side. If it's not our response, then we have to manage it, right? If it wasn't the response that we were expecting, then we have to actually find a way to manage it in ourselves before we respond, in a non-violent act, I should say, right? Pause, right? We pause instead of interrupt, right?
Yeah.
What does it, and what's the space like? What does it create, right? We not at the bar, so we had a nice gala, and somebody happened to say something out of line. That's not the place for that, right? We just got caught off guard, and we held accountable for something, just to actually nick at our nerves. We get that. People, you got haters. Just brush them off. That's how I look at that.
Keep on stepping.
Keep on stepping, right? All right. So my second one is language that builds bridges, not walls, right?
Bridges,
Um,
that's it.
so
Connect.
the words can either escalate conflict or open the doors to healing, right? Critical thinking examples here: invent and impact, right? The first is, did my words land the way I meant them, or did they cause untainted harm, right? And then the tone awareness again, right? How does my delivery affect how my message is received, right? Um,
Hmm.
and then reframing from conflict. Can I turn to you and never listen to you again, or be unheard, or just ignore a person? That's some that these are things that we culturally do already, right? Some people, say something to you and they ready to ignore you, right? You just look back past them, and not as to what they said, right? So we have cultural sensitivities, right? um then we using a language that respects our life experiences, and even our identity, right? Some people have, that I've been here, I've done that type of attitude, so we should be respected a certain way. I should actually be talked to, this in this tone, because I'm this person. I'm not that individual, but I'll tell you in a minute, I'm not gonna do it either. So,
You ain't
you know,
gonna do it.
I'm right. So, even say least it comes down to, um, you know, compromise without losing yourself, right? Compromise isn't surrendering; it's strategy for
That's right.
mutual growth, right? That's what that comes to. And so, critical thinking examples are, values check, right? What's non-negotiable for me, and what can I flex on, right? What can I actually, basically, what can I flex on, right? Those are your strengths. Play to your strengths, and not your, taking, as my mom say, acting your shoe size, right? So,
Your mom
um,
said,
that's what that comes down to. So, what are we doing? Winning, right? The outcome. What's the outcome that would, honor both of you guys together, in the situation? Everybody. What outcome would be rendered, right? The more uh, um, reasonable outcome for everybody, sensibly, right? Where can we focus on that we come out and not be throwing blows at each other, right? That's not what we want to do, right? Boundaries, right?
we want to
Clarify
work it
that.
out. We want to work it out.
Yeah, we want to definitely work it out. I am compromising, so I could actually, abandon, the truth, right? We just gonna let it go.
Your truth, your truth. You're gonna abandon your truth.
Right. Will this compromise strengthen or strengthen the relationship long term? Right. Will, if it's something short term, yeah. Well, we got through that, and I'll never see you again. That should be that should be, some situations, but not all. Right. It depends on what the outcome, that you do. It's just an example, right? And so the fourth one is emotional intelligence and disagreements, right? Emotional awareness transforms conflict into connection, right?
Mm,
Um, what are the critical thinking here? What past wounds um, is this disagreement poking at, right? What past do you have that
What does it bring
making you
to
feel
mind?
this way? Yeah, you're running this gauntlet in your mind, thinking that this is what I think I want to do right now. No, you did this before, so you think you feel this way. So no, I know we get that. We just had that conversation. We was just having this conversation a second ago. So I'm hitting my points right where they need to be right now. So
See?
you know, so it's self-regulation, right? Can I stay grounded? Even when I feel, attacked, so
Yeah.
that feeling ain't always what, some people would just want to, as some people say, put the cables on you. You can't, you know,
Lord, got some terms.
you, you can't let people put the cables on you. That's something we got to, even say at least turn the other cheek to, right? And so, we work it out in our mind, and and leave people where they standing. And as I say, I'll leave you right where you're standing at. You think you're putting the cables on me, you got another thing coming, right? But what story might be telling about, and somebody be about telling about themselves, right? Who they are, that if they got to
Yeah.
put you down, then that's just them and their personality ain't got nothing else better to do with their time, right?
They might have to put you down in order to build themselves up.
Yeah, but yeah, pretty much. Then that's how that comes to. What's one thing that you could say to rebuild the trust, or get make things right, right? That's the biggest thing, right? What words could be conveyed to say, hey, you know what, this is just misunderstanding. We just need to actually.
But
Uh,
sometimes people can't talk, they can't communicate their feelings to one another. So it may have to be communicated a different way, maybe through someone else.
Yes, that and then that's mediation. You know, we get to that. You know, we definitely need more of that. You know, we need definitely have counselors. That's what needs to be on the police force, if you ask me. A mediation, you know, to say the least, before it gets to the courts, right? You know, it should be some type of well, this person before they get convicted of a crime and can't actually, you know, do nothing for the rest of their life. You know, can't be a doctor or can't be a lawyer before they turn 18 or 19 because you know they made a mistake and took a piece of candy out of the stove. You know, we we got
Yeah.
we got we got to actually have some type of mediation before these things happen. You know, it's one thing for our children out here to have what did I look at? To have guns, but the white folks, they teach their kids how to use the guns. You know, they
Yes.
teaching them how to hunt and everything. You know, shoot at certain things, right? So you know, that's the thing that comes down to a black man on the corner having one and not and going to jail for it. So
Yeah.
same
Right.
equivalency, but different shade of skin color.
Check that baby out. So Sandra, what say you about some of the issues that Brother Jordan has brought forth?
I'm sorry, say that again.
What say you about some of the items that he's brought forth in terms of communication tactics?
As far as us improving our communication or the
Yeah,
things
yeah.
that hold us up.
Do you agree with what he's been saying? And if so, how would you see?
You know, communication to me is a very personal thing. And again, it's something that you learn over the years. Um, I think what you have to learn to do, you have to be more receptive. You have to be willing to, first, you got to be a listener. You got to be willing to hear what's being said.
Mm.
And as you're hearing what's being said, even if you disagree with it, like I said before, you have to be able to articulate that in a manner that's going to be received by the person that you're disagreeing with. Get out. And
Yeah,
and see that again means choosing sometimes your words carefully.
yeah,
Um, and again, it's personal because some people you have to want to have a communication or want to be able to communicate with that person. If someone comes to something, they have one idea in their head or their purpose to be there is to bless someone out or to only be heard and not hear anyone else, it doesn't matter how well you can or cannot communicate. You're not going to be effectively communicating with that person because they're not there to hear you. They're there
right.
to lodge their anger, their issue, their point, and they don't care about what else you're talking about, including a resolution, solution, and even an apology. They're not going to hear it because that's not where they are. You don't
Oh,
know that until you too got to be receptive because you got to notice when someone's not listening to you or
yeah,
willing to hear you. And then depending on what the task is, what the mission is at hand, that'll determine what you do, what your next step is.
right. Okay,
The cute girls in this building.
makes sense. Makes sense. Okay. What you think, Si? You agree with that strategy, or you have another suggestion? Rose, Si, you guys, we're having a discussion here. Well, let me see, Sandra. And I see Brother Jordan is attending to the children.
Wanda,
Yes.
again, I think Rose is on there, but see what Obi has to say.
Obi, Obi, we have a comment about this topic.
I have senior citizen that needs to learn a lesson. Uh,
You can
I
see.
pretty much am not a good communicator because I I think I don't know if it's psychological or not, but I believe that what we keep talking about is repetitious, and I keep in my mind keep saying I don't want you guys to get 89 years old with the same conversation.
Oh,
So
okay.
sometimes I get no, that's not fair to you all. But sometimes that makes me impatient because I want to hurry up and get to the point on how we can keep moving forward. And we, in my opinion, sometimes we have discussions on things that we can't change because we haven't strategically sit down and figured out how to change it. And and this is probably controversial by all of us, is that I want us to know how, if we got a spy in the room, how do we use that spy for the benefit of us?
If we got a spy, how do we use that spy to communicate what we want them to communicate?
Yes.
Huh, interesting. Because they sure gonna take the message on wherever you don't want it to go, they gonna take it there.
But we wanted to go. But we want them to tell our story.
And we should just tell them like we would anybody else, and so that they'll
Now, you have
be
to, but
delivering the
see,
right message.
they're there not to do us good, and perhaps they're there. I'm saying perhaps they're there to get paid, because I know all of us have heard people that say they doing what they had to do because they got to feed their family, but in the meantime, what they're doing is not beneficial to us. So we need to figure out how to send them to the room, to the table, with the mindset on how we can use them to do what they're capable of doing to benefit me.
Okay.
I'm part of an association in my community, and what happened, we had one white guy that's married to a black woman, and I had a project after the agenda for the meeting was over. Then they opened it up for some remarks or questions, and I asked the white guy what I asked the black guy, and everybody in my association got mad at me because they thought I was singling out the white guy.
Oh.
And I want to know what the hell the white guy think from his perspective. So if I give you another scenario, everybody's familiar with the name Dick Gregory, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, Dick Gregory had a white guy that literally helped him move the pieces positively. But he also said that when he was growing up in a racist family, and that he was a racist. So I wasn't pleased with being in their presence periodically, because even though he was helping Dick Gregory do some positive things, he still admitted that when he go home for Thanksgiving and be around his family, he got to defend the racist policies, and So I know this is controversial. Everybody likes Father Flagger.
Yeah.
I see him as a spy.
You do?
And I wouldn't say everyone, Dr. Obi, because I think there's a lot of people who recognize that if he really wanted to help, he wouldn't be in the spotlight. He would take and make sure that there's a black face so that the children can look up to a black face leading black people, not the other way around.
I agree. I second that.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay. You agree too, Brother Jordan?
I sure do.
All right. I'm
I don't
telling you, because the
understand.
first
I
time
don't
I
un-
heard that man speak, I was at Push. And I wasn't looking on the stage. I was just listening to the voice, walking into the room. And when I looked up there and saw that face, I was like, "That we sound just like a black man." I just don't like, is that